sorry about that. Unaware to me was that there has been a change of format where the final is now consisting of 2 games. If they tie, there will be another Blitz playoff. So actually we have two game final. I just was informed of that, and we have to continue. So Nighttime has not won the tournament yet. We're jumping back in. Points. Black is up 3 points, which is pretty good. White is still in fairly decent shape. He should try to increase the activity of his pieces very quickly now, because if Black does that as well, then the White King could be in danger. I do like how they continued the game. Let me just take a quick look at how they got to that situation. The opening started out pretty okay, and I really like this e4 move. It's lure. He's trying to make White take it, and when White takes it, White opens up the e file that his king and queen are on, and Black punishes it immediately. It's a very nasty trap set by Nighttime, and I think Javius will remember this one and not fall for it again. Let's see if he manages to fight back. So far so good. When someone is down, or let's say when you're up 3 points or more, usually a knight or a bishop or better, in this case White is up at least that, then the goal should be to attack the enemy king with all you have. And you should not really try to trade pieces. You should try to use the extra pieces or points you have to go after the enemy king, because if you attack with everything you have and your opponent defends with everything they have, you will have more points attacking than your opponent will have defending, and that should mean that the king cannot defend itself against all those pieces. The only reason to trade when you're up in material is if your own king is in danger. If your own king is in danger, even though you're up in material, then it's good to trade pieces and get those attackers of the enemy off the board. Now in this case, this Black king is perfectly safe. There's really nothing going to happen to it. You just have to be a little bit careful on the back rank, but that's it, and that's far away. So in this position, White should try to keep as many lines and files closed, and this e4 move unfortunately did not help with that. Because now, for example, we already have a mating threat on d1. White did find the best move, and that's to castle away from that threat. And Black continues to play aggressively. I like the idea, but I'm a little bit nervous about this f7 pawn. But let's see. Uh-oh. That one is not going to go well for White, because the pawn now comes in with the bishop as backup. The king has to move, and the pawn makes it to the other side. He gets a knight. Doesn't really matter. Any piece that Black could have gotten a queen there as well, or a bishop or a rook. White was probably going to take it anyway. But there is a maiden 1 which he missed. Queen could still come down and check the king, and together with these pieces it would be checkmate. Not that this is going to save White's position at all, because danger is still coming from all sides. The queen comes in, the rook comes into the open file. It's now an all-out hunt for the White king. The king moves out. I see a mate in 1. Bishop moves out instead. The king can still move. The bishop moves out with another check. It's going to be made very soon, I think. The bishop takes. Yes, it looks like I was a little early in calling a tournament victory for nighttime, not realizing there was going to be 2 games today, but nighttime seems to be well on his way to win the second final game as well. The knight moves in with it discovered check by the rook. The king has 2 safe squares left. Neither one of them is going to feel particularly safe. If he moves back to e1, then he lines up with the queen. If he moves out to the middle of the board, he just moves closer to the black pieces. Anywhere this knight moves is check. And there it goes. It's a double check, queen and knight. And the king will have to move again. If black brings in another piece to the 3rd or 2nd rank, yep, very good move. Backed up by the queen, by the knight. The king will have to move to one of these squares. It's almost checkmate. The queen moves up even more. The king will have to move to the side. Now if black gets one more piece in the attack, it will be checkmate very soon. Will he find the way to checkmate? I think there's a checkmate in 2. He trades white's last big defender, which is not going to help white, obviously. But it's not checkmate yet. If he would have brought the rook down to the 2nd rank, it would have been mate on that 2nd rank. Now he just needs to get one other piece involved, which he will, I think. I think he'll find it. And there it comes. The knight comes in and now creates 2 mating threads, which will be found. And there it is. Nighttime now really did win the tournament. He won the first game, and then there was a second game with reversed colors, and he won that game too. So now we can call him the winner of today's 4th tournament. And we can just put a 2 there and make it 2-0. Nighttime has won today's event as well. Last time he lost in the final, and the first tournament he also won. So he seems to be like the player to beat at this moment. I will take you back to the crucial moment in the game, after which white never really made a comeback, and it was a very, very interesting idea played by Nighttime. He spotted that this king and queen are lined up on this file, but black cannot use that file yet because his own pawn is blocking him. So you can move the rook to this file, but the pawn is blocking the view of the rook. The rook's ability is limited by his own pawn. So what did he do? He put his pawn in danger and said, come take my pawn. He was saying my pawn actually is hurting me more than it's helping me. But that was a bit tricky to see, and white said, well, I'll come take that pawn, and all of a sudden the pawn is gone and the file has opened, and there came the rook. The rook is protected by the queen. White can no longer escape, losing the queen for the rook. And this decided the game. He did find the best moves in this position. He decided to give up the queen on this square, although black could take it with the bishop, but at least after the queen was lost, this pawn now is helping this king be shielded on this e-file again. This pawn is now the shield for the white king. So some very impressive ideas by both white and black. But in the remainder of the game, black used all his pieces to go after white's king and eventually managed to get a stalemate. Checkmate. And won the tournament. So congratulations to Nighttime 03. Thank you again for joining us today. We will be back next week with more action from the Hartford Public Library chess tournament. Bye bye.